கேக்குதா? Right. Thank you, Diana madam. Now we shall move into the second session. As we have heard from Dr. Charles, the various aspects of phytochemical research, and the one important point he mentioned was he a botanist for your plant selection, and therefore I'm here to introduce Dr. Jani Kumar Tagore from the Department of Botany, St. Joseph's College, Trichy, to share with us his experience and choosing the right plant for phytochemical research. I have a pleasure in introducing him. He did his BSc, MSc, and PhD in St. Joseph's College, and he did his MPhil in Periyar University, Salem. He also completed his SET, and he has a research experience. He is a research fellow in a quantitative assessment and mapping of plant resources of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. He also a project assistant in geospatial modeling of ecological niche and distribution of some threatened species in eastern Ghats of Tamil Nadu. He has 3 years of teaching experience, 3 years of teaching experience, and he has around 17 publications for his credit. Most of them are well-reputed journals. I would like to invite Dr. Tagore to present his topic. I think we will get a good view about the plants in and around us. Dr. Tagore, sir, it's over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your warm words of welcome. So I shall move to the presentation now. First, I wish to thank Dr. Charles, sir, because he, at the end, touched upon the few key aspects of the role of a botanist in phytochemical analysis. So in this aspect, I'm going to present this topic. So the thing is, so we have plants all around us. So we have co-evolved with all the plants, like, medicines, our food, everything is dependent on plants. So medicines, we have a different types of medicinal practices like Ayurveda, Siddha, even several folklore, localized medicinal systems are there. And even every civilization in the world globally, they have their unique medicinal system. Like we can say Chinese medicinal system, Arabic medicinal system, Unani, etc., etc. And we have spices which are used in foods, and also they are also our mood regulators. Like when we are in a dull mood or something, those aroma will refresh us. And perfumes, cosmetics, not to mention much, because we have since the ancient days we have a turmeric is used as a cosmetic, like shikakai, etc., etc. There are so much in cosmetics. Sweetness, sugar, it is produced from sugarcane, beetroot, etc. And recently we have so much of plant-derived sweetness, like which can be used for diabetic patients. And beverages, say for example tea and coffee, they are the best mood regulators in the world. Some are used as pesticides, dyes, and many more. So in this aspect, we have a different plant habits. So we have trees, which are larger in size, say about more than 5 meters of height. Then shrubs, which are around 3 meters in height. So herbs, they are a few centimeters to maximum 1 meter height. And we have creepers, which can grow into a very large extent, but they creep around the floor surface. And climbers, which rely on the support of other plants or strong structures. So So these creepers and climbers, they are actually, they are a tender stem, and herbaceous plants, they are also somewhat tender stem. So then we have different parts of plants, so which is essential in phytochemical analysis. So we have roots are there. So we can say this ginger, curcuma. So these are all roots. So they produce the phytochemicals which are essential, which are essentials. All right. So then we have leaves like mint, coriander, etc., etc. So in these plants, the leaves have the phytochemical compounds. Then we have fruits or seeds like in neem, where the azadirachtin is rich in seeds of the neem plant. Then we have bark. For some spices, we use bark. Then resins, that doop and all, we say sambrani, right? So that is from the resins of the trees. Then we have flowers, hibiscus or roses, which are used as medicines. Even that stamens of a flower, that is also used separately, like say saffron. So that stamen of that flower is used as so then we have to select a plant for our research purpose, right? So how we select a plant? So they are based on value. So what value does the plant have? So it may be of a medicinal use, aromatic or edible, anything. And uniqueness of a plant. So it should be whether it is endemic or endangered or something like that. And the niche, the place where it grows, that also holds a very key role in selection of plant. Right. So let's discuss them in detail. Right. So what does endemic or endangered or rare means? So endemism is actually, it is a place where a plant is confined to, right? So it means that you can see that particular plant only in that particular region or geographical region. So we cannot find that plant anywhere else in the world. So that is endemism, right? So then we have a endangered or red list, or we can say even rare plants, right? So this is a classification given by IUCN. So here we have one key issue I need to locate. So here these are all 9 parameters. So we have evaluated or not evaluated. Then we have sufficient data and data deficient. Then we have all the plants that have adequate data are listed here. So in this, I have seen many people taking this least concern as a IUCN validation list. So it is not actually. So least concern means we are least bothered. You don't have to make it as a point to mention it, right? So otherwise, you can even take this data deficient plant or this not evaluated plant into a category. About 65 to 70% of all the endangered species comes under this data deficient category. So you can take data deficient into account for as a key parameter. Least concern is not needed. Other than that, all the threatened categories, so these 3 comes under this threatened category. So these plants are usually categorized as endangered or red list or rare species. So then so next we have a value or viability of a specimen. So usually, the plants have a lot of phytochemicals. They are present in different parts of the plant, like fruits or flowers or stem, etc. And these bioactive compounds or so these bioactive compounds are there are different types of bioactive compounds like alkaloids, flavonoids, terpenoids, phenolics, etc., etc. So based on those biological compounds, we go for study. So then the next one is this ecological niche. So this is a very key part in selecting a plant. So each organism, they have a unique adaptation. So as we said earlier in the endemism, so each plant has adapted itself to grow in a particular environment. So this is called ecological niche. So here we see different birds. So they are adapted to certain region of the pond, right? So they can adapt to that particular region, and other birds can't go into that. Plovers can't reach where flamingos go, or something like that, right? So this is called ecological niche. Each plant, each organism has its own region of prominence, right? So these are influenced by certain parameters. Right. So these are all called as physiological variations, right? So these physiological variations, environmental conditions, say for example, a plant grows at a particular temperature, at particular elevation, and with seasons, wise it will come. So that plays an important role. Geographical variations, right? So based on the altitude or the its distance from the equator, they also play a role. So genetic factors, evolution. So where the plant species would have been fragmented and they evolved separately, and so on. So this ecological niche is a key point. So this is actually the adaptation of a plant to a unique region, so to a particular geographical region. So in such case, a medicinal plant, for example, may exhibit its own medicinal properties. So say this same plant can be grown in different spaces, in places, right? So a plant at a particular place may have higher concentrations of these phytochemicals, but the other places are where we cultivate them, they don't exhibit such promising secondary metabolites, right? So this is because of the unique adaptation of the particular organism. So this needs to be taken note. So that is why we see so many specialized centers in India for different treatments. Likewise, say you would have heard of this treatment for asthma. So they will give a fish with some herbs in its mouth, and we used to swallow it, right? So that is a type of a treatment, but that is only available in the Andhra. And here also in Tamil Nadu, near Pudukkottai, there is a village called Kadiyapatti. So this place is so unique that all over the place, all over the India, people come here for treating jaundice. So here, only in that place, that treatment is available. So these are all basically because that plants grow to that unique adaptation of their surroundings. So that is the reason for this uniqueness or this variation in phytocompounds in same species growing in different regions. So then one key aspect I would like to note is this specimen collection. So this actually Professor Charles also touched upon. So specimen collection is a very key part. So because here is where a botanist role comes, right? So whenever we come across specimens, they are all usually poorly mounted. So when you collect a specimen, it is a very rare specimen. It is going to be unique, and it is going to be your study material. So the specimen should be mounted properly. So usually, a simple poisoning would be sufficient for mounting the specimen. Like you can dip it in ethanol or formalin, just that, because that won't allow the specimen to decay or get destroyed, right? So this is very important. So you can mount it, and here is where that labeling and herbarium mounting is essential. So labeling is also a very important aspect. So here we have a different parts. Okay, we have a, it is very important to make note of these parameters, right? So where you collected the plant from, so which hill or any plains, or that is which place is you have mentioned in the flora, collection number, name of the plant family, any local name, because uh, particular name of a plant may vary in different localities. There is aloe vera is called as katrale, right? So but it has also another name called kasturi. So who knows that? So each the name differs from place to place. So the local name in phytochemicals or ethnobotanical study is very important. And locality, so habitat, so which region it grows, like is it a hilly region or a plains or a desertified region or something like that. So vegetation, what are all the vegetation surrounds. There is one aspect called allelopathic effect of a plant, right? So the growth of a plant is influenced by its surrounding plants. So that is also uh, needs to be taken care. Like there is one weed, invasive species called the lantana camera. So the lantana camera has an allelopathic effect on rice, that the grains, number of grains gets increased when grown among lantana camera. So, but the problem is we can't cultivate rice between lantana camera. So we can't get that much yield. So that is the thing. But otherwise, that can also be studied. So what is that phyto compound that is responsible for the increase in grains in rice can also be studied, and that can be used in cultivation of rice, right? So the flower or fruit, at what period this happens, certain flowers are needed, used for phytochemical studies. In such case, that period of flowering matters. Where if it flowers early, it may not have sufficient compounds, or it flowers late also, it may not be viable. So that period is essential. So altitude, which height, distribution, soil type, whether black or loamy or red soil, that also has its influence. A brief description can also be noted, and notes what and all you have observed there can be mentioned. So the final thing I need to touch upon is plant names. There are many issues regarding plant names. Actually, after the evolution of this plant classification, APG3, Angiosperm Phylogeny Group, they are now the authority in classification of plants. So they do this based on the molecular studies, right? So Tulasi, holy basil, is commonly named as Osminum santum. It is a universally accepted common name. So but thing is, it is not actually the accepted name of according to the botanical nomenclature, right? So here it is, the accepted name is Osminum tiniflorum. So this is the accepted name. So while writing papers or anything, so you have to check whether the name is accepted name or not. So likewise, there is also, that Samane Saman, the Tungamunji Maram is there, no? So that is also, the name has changed. That is changed into Albizia Saman. There are so many such names, which are usually commonly known to public, but the accepted name is different. So the accepted name is Osminum tiniflorum for Tulasi. So likewise, this you have to authenticate the names before for going for publication of anything. So then we have certain issues in the author citation. So I would like to note that also. So here, in the first thing we have Cassia occidentalis. So here the O should be in lowercase, one thing, and there is no author citation is mentioned. So this should be mentioned, that it means incomplete. There can be several Cassia occidentalis in the plant's naming. So it should be Cassia occidentalis, and the author citation lineage should be there. right? So again, it is a, it has a different synonym, right? So this is actually Sena occidentalis is the accepted name here, and Cassia occidentalis is not the one. So this is one issue. So then we have Cardiospermum helicacapum. So here we have Linnaeus as the author's name, but you know, in rules, according to the rules, it should be only L, not Linn. So this is the thing that needs to be taken care of. These are all the journal articles which are published uh, in reputed journals. So next one, we have this Jatropha curcas. So here also the Lin is kept in brackets. So but the actual name is only Linnaeus. There are no other authors. So when bracket comes, this also needs to be taken note. So here you see Agel Murmelos, Lin is kept in bracket, but actually it is Lin Murmelos Queria. So in such case, you know, it has brackets are allowed, but not in unnecessary things like Jatropha curcas. Right. So these are a few issues in citations. So these are all the naming convention which I wanted to discuss about. So where you can check the plants. So here are the 3 websites which you can authenticately confirm a plant's name. So the plantlist.org, it's a global consortium of several global herbaria. So here you can validate a plant name. IPNI is also a global consortium of a plant name. So here also, here you can see when that species is authenticated and published. So that complete reference you can get from IPNI, and IUCN you can get from, you can get all the, whether it is the plant is threatened or what, that assessment status category of plant can be brought from IUCN Red List. So with this, I conclude my talk. So I want to discuss more. So I'm expecting more questions in this regard. So because you know there are while Professor Charles was speaking, there were too many questions regarding this. So in that aspect, I would like to discuss a lot.
Any question? You can raise your hands. You can raise your hands in the Zoom so that we will unmute your audio and video. You can straight away ask a question to the speaker. And you can also type your questions in the chat box. We will ask on your behalf, both YouTube and Zoom. Is there any questions? Anybody want to discuss with the speaker?
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes, sir. Xavier, sir. Please.
Sir, just one doubt, sir.
Sir, spacing, sir. Right.
There are many regional plants. Suppose in Trichy there may be one plant, and in Tirupati may be the same plant may have different properties.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the species is the same.
Yes.
So my question is whether the property, the medicinal value will be the same or different, sir.
Sir, it differs, sir. So if the plant from different region, they exhibit different, because you know the plant grows based on their stress conditions available in their environment. So that influences a lot in their secondary metabolite production. So when there are sufficient stress where they have adapted, say for, as you said in Trichy, the plant has its characters. Whereas in Tirupathur, it may have a different environmental conditions where that secondary metabolites may not be produced. So it varies. So there is a significant variation will be there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
So this is called that ecological niche. So plants exhibit, it is based on their adaptability towards their environment. So maybe perhaps if
For
we
the,
find that plant with similar condition elsewhere, so where there we can find viable plant. Like they may exhibit same phytochemical compounds, but they should have similar ecological parameters like temperature, altitude, atmospheric presence. Their associated plants, everything plays a role.
because for a particular disease, for example, for the jaundice, some area only they are giving the medicines. For example, here in the Tirunelveli, in Papanasam they are giving medicine, and in Tirupattur near Valaja, somebody giving the medicine for the jaundice. Suppose the same plant we grow in a nearby area, I think it won't give that much of effect. That's why I'm asking this, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir, it won't. Actually, same for jaundice, that Philanthus neruri, they wanted to cultivate this plant in Malaysia, I think. So they cultivated in a large scale. This plant, they collected it and they cultivated in large scale. But the thing was, the medicinal property was totally lost in the Malaysian plants. So this happens because the plants exhibit their secondary metabolites based on their stress available in their environment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, one more question from YouTube
Okay, sir.
from Satya Priyadarshini,
Uh,
Sakti Priyadarshini. Could you explain the collection of epiphytes? Epiphytes is a wild collection.
collection of
Epiphytes. EPIPHYTES.
epiphytes.
Epiphytes.
Oh, okay, sir. So epiphytes are usually the plants that grow on other plants without disturbing. They just grow on plants. They don't depend on food or anything from those host plants. So collection, usually orchids are epiphytes. So collection, it remains same as for other plants, other herbs. The thing is, you have to maintain its what to say, that moisture content and all. So then standard procedure is processed, like shade drying, everything.
One more question from Priyanka. Species or genus are same, but the plant is different. So the property of medicinal is the same or different, sir?
Sorry, sir.
Species or genus are same,
Okay,
but
sir.
the plant is different.
Yes,
Species or genus is
so actually,
same.
this is what I wanted you to check in that plant name list, right? So there are so many plants with the same name and species epithet. So the thing is, you have to check for the author name also. So you can come across so many plants with the same species and genus, but they are named differently. So you have to check for the author name, and that is where you have to authenticate with the botanist. This happens. There are so many plants like that.
Okay. Is there any other question? Or, is there any other question? You can raise your hand or you can type in the chat box. There is one more question.
Yes, sir.
Is there any difference between plants that grown in same place from
Yes, sir.
Gomati?
Because the same stress or environmental conditions, they grow together, so there may not be any difference in the plants collected from same region.
So we have to collect plants from different regions. Okay. Is there any other? Any other questions? No. You can, if there is any other questions, you can also post. We will convey the questions to the speaker, then he will answer to the questions personally. I think we shall conclude the session. Before, I would like to invite Professor Ilavarsi to give a formal thanks to the speaker. இளவரசி மேடம் அன்மியூட் பண்ணுங்க.
Good afternoon, sir. Is it audible?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. The best and beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even untouched. They must be felt by art. Thank you is one such prayer among them. I consider it a great privilege to propose a vote of thanks to this webinar session, Principles on Choosing a Plant Material for Research. First and foremost, I thank the Lord Almighty for His showers of blessings throughout the session. Today, my words are not enough to express the gratitude. On behalf of Department of Chemistry, Sacred Heart College Tirupattur and Auxilium College Vellore, I would like to thank our resource person, Dr. Johnny Kumar Tagore, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of Botany, St. Joseph's College Autonomous, Trichy, who graced us with his excellent presentations and providing the websites to check the plans and making the session interesting and meaningful. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank the management, the principals, and the heads of Department of Chemistry of both Sacred Heart College and Auxilium College for all words of wisdom that radiated a source of energy within us. Thank you, dear fathers, sisters, and madams. I thank Professor Napoleon, the convener, Dr. Collins, organizing secretary, and Dr. Prabhu for the technical support. I am grateful to the department faculty who has given enormous support to make this program successful. Thank you, sirs. I thank the participants for their participation and being patient listeners, because without your cooperation and support, this webinar will not fulfill. Thank you once again. God bless you all in this pandemic situation. Thank you.